Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78, heading out to South Barrington, and that's where my friend Jeffrey is. Tell me about the terror roulette that is happening, which is not something that I've really seen in Chicago at all. So, how you doing, sir?
Great. We're having a really fun time at Terror Roulette. And as you said, it's not something that has been seen in the Chicagoland area. We very much, when we came in here, thought we needed to come up with something unique and different in
Mhm.
order to be able to stand out in the market. And so, yes, we created Terror Roulette, which is a multi-path haunt experience rather than going through a linear path in what would be called like a conga line. You're actually sent in
That's a good
as
way
a
to
Yep.
it's a good way
um,
to describe that.
Yep. It's yeah, so rather than a conga line, you go through in a group of 8 people. If it's you and 7 of your friends, it's only you going through and at some point in the attraction, our dealers are going to reshuffle the deck. And so you start as 8 and you'll end up in groups of 4. You might end up in groups of 2. You have a 1 in 4 chance of having a solo experience. And I say this with 100% accuracy. 8 people walk in, 7 people walk out. And how that works, you'll just have to find out. But it's a
Ah,
really fun time.
and Chicago has been lucky over since I'm born and raised here, grew up here, started with like Statesville Haunted Prison back in the day,
Ah.
and which is like the granddaddy of like haunted. And I think they're gone now. I think that last year was their last year, so there's a huge void in the market, obviously. But Chicago has been blessed with lots of experiences, but this is definitely something different. When you say playing cards, what do you mean by that exactly? Like, you start off as 8, you go into a room, you get cards, and then you kind of go on your way depending on what the cards say.
Yes, so the entire concept is surrounded by our primary villain, which is the dealer and his crony of his posse of other dealers. And so you go in and you are invited into the back room for an illegal card game. And what that card game actually is the dealers giving you specific playing cards that will seal your fate, let's call it. And
All
so
right.
those physical playing cards are put on lanyards that are around your neck. And as you go through the attraction, the different serial killers inside of the haunt are trained to look for specific playing cards and divide and conquer. So the idea being that the dealers are essentially assessing you to figure out which serial killer you most fit with, which serial killer would want you most in their sadistic choosings,
Uh-huh.
and then your experience will be slightly different based on that. There are certain rooms that are everyone together, and then there's certain rooms that are split up. And so even in the rooms that everyone's together, there are certain characters that are looking for specific cards. So for example, if you have the Queen of Hearts, there is a character who's specifically looking for you.
Oh, wow. It's almost like the reverse of Clue mixed in with a little bit of like escape room with Vegas ishness to it.
We've definitely made ourselves interactive. We are
Yeah.
There are 22 rooms in the haunt. You as a
Wow.
guest will go, yes, it's massive. But yeah, there's 22 rooms and you will go through 17 of those rooms. And and within that, you spend a good couple of minutes in every room, and those actors and the characters they're playing are fully invested in you in that moment. So it's very personal, it's very intimate. You really get a sense that you're going to die because they're going because
Okay.
they've been waiting in the shadows for you, for the dealer to bring them, to bring their next victims, and you are their next victims.
That sounds awesome. Gotta say. I mean,
It's
that's
fun.
a lot different than, like you said, conga lining your way through a haunt, if you will. Um, and how long does this take? Just curious. I mean, I know it varies, but I mean, what would you say the average time is?
Sure, that's a great question. We want you to be immersed from the moment you walk in. And so when you walk through the security, as soon as you are past security, you're in world. We actually have characters we have a front of house bar we don't serve any food or alcohol, but because we have so many other eateries around the Arboretum that are too good. But when you're in world, the moment you walk in, there's a bartender, there's a creeper, there's a couple other characters that are interacting with you immediately, and then they will facilitate when it's time for the dealer to bring you into the back room. So start to finish, I'd say it's about like 30-40 minutes ish.
Nice. Yeah, perfect amount of time. Just a nice little date night or
Yeah.
hanging out with your pals, for sure. And it's Thursday through Sundays, correct?
Correct. Yes, Thursdays through Sundays. First reservation is 6:45 p.m. and depending on the day, we usually last reservation is usually like 10:30 or midnight.
All right. And as far as the reservations are concerned, should people do this well ahead of time? Do you do walk-ups or any of that good stuff? Because from Chicago, it's a little bit of a drive on 90 from, like, if you live in the city out South Barrington, the Arboretum, plenty of parking. It's, despite the name, it's inside, it's not outside. But
True.
should people plan ahead here?
Yes, the Arboretum is a vast shopping center, and it's really great. What I recommend, especially people who are traveling from a distance, is to make a night of it. If the idea behind the time ticketing is that your wait will be very minimal, particularly because, as I said, when you go through security, you are in world, and so there are people to talk with and characters to interact with from the moment you walk in. But I would say the best way to go about this is to make a reservation online through our time ticketing platform, and then plan to either come early or stay late, because there's a lot of great eateries around there. We're right next to Star Cinema Grill, which is one of those fancy movie theaters that feeds you
Oh
while you're
yeah,
watching the movie.
fantastic.
It's great. And there's restaurants that are offering either free appetizers or themed cocktails, sometimes discounts if you show them your ticket. So our experience, is 30 to 40 minutes, but you can make this in an evening by attending Terror Roulette, attending a movie, going to dinner, and really making a night of it.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Exorcist movie's out, so it's
It
a
is.
whole night for you, especially on a weekend. So,
Yeah.
Jeffrey, thank you so much. The website people should go to is what?
www.terrorroulette.com.
Simple enough. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I appreciate it. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you
Yeah.
out at I want to get the name right, the Arboretum of South Barrington. I always want to flip it and
Right.
say South Barrington Arboretum, but
The
yeah, you know
Arboretum
what I
of
mean.
South Barrington. That's right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeffrey.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. See ya. Thanks.